that subscribe button, nigga.
Memory lane and weighed in on the conversation that he would still be just as dominant if his Heat tenure never happened. Tweeting, "You're darn right I would be. I'm chosen. Nothing's changing that. Maybe fewer rings, but dominant from start to finish."
Just so you know, you should watch this show. This show is probably the best show on FS1. This show is probably the best show on FS1.
Nick, you want to go? No.
As a matter of fact, I think it probably is the best show on FS1.
You can pass the ball.
I want to hear
like
Brew. Because, people should remember, Brew broke the story of LeBron to the Heat 13 years ago, back when he was working for the Actors.
Turns out, didn't matter
No, I
at all.
was with the ESPN at that point.
Wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, but go ahead.
What I don't like about LeBron's tweet is saying maybe 2 less rings.
It just says maybe less
maybe
rings.
less rings.
Yeah.
Because LeBron's got to understand, it's about the rings, LeBron. Like, this conversation is about the rings.
It is. Now it's about rings. You see how the media just flips what bro said? He just said, I'll be the same player individually. They flip it. Nah, you talking about team. You go anywhere. But he didn't say that. He didn't say that. This isn't about rings. This is about, this shouldn't even be a topic because he didn't say anything. He just spoke the truth. He said, I'll be the same player. And you think they do? They flip it into he's talking about rings and he's not. Oh my God.
I don't think anybody in their right mind
Oh my God.
thinks that had LeBron not gone to Miami, had he stayed in Cleveland, individually, he wouldn't have been just as great as he's always been. He would.
That's what he said. That's basically what he said. He would still be the same individual player. Oh my God.
Still, had he stayed in Cleveland those 4 years, he'd still be the all-time leading scorer. He'd still be top 5. He's number 4 in assists. Like, individually, nothing would have changed.
That's what he's saying. So why is this a topic? Because they want to talk about LeBron.
The question is the rings. And if you don't.
That's not the question. Y'all flipped into that. That was never the question. He didn't even mention rings. Other than now, he didn't mention in his first quote. On Twitter, he said, maybe I'll have less rings. This is the main point. Dominant from start to finish. He didn't say, I don't need the Heat. And if I didn't, he basically saying, I'll be all right as a player. That's it. He didn't say nothing about if I didn't go to the Heat and I went to the 76ers, I would have won all them rings and maybe more. He didn't say that. What?
Win those 2 rings, then you're not in the GOAT conversation.
But could he have won rings elsewhere?
It's not even. I brought this up. If he went to the Spurs, the Lakers, the Thunder, the Warriors, he probably won the 2 rings that he won in Miami. But this is not what he's talking about.
This is my point.
Okay.
I always have felt that LeBron sold himself short when he went to Miami to play with Wade and Bosh. Because I thought he could have done it in Cleveland.
No. No. You can't get good players if you're picking 30th. Maybe Jimmy Butler, maybe Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. You can get those. But actually, somebody said a good point. He saved Cleveland by leaving so they could get Kyrie, Andrew Wiggins, so they could get first overall picks and get Tristan Thompson, players that they can draft. He kind of saved the Cavaliers, actually. He saved them. Without even being there, he saved the Cavaliers. That's a good point. He actually did. If he stayed, who were they getting? Mo Williams? He's going to carry Mo Williams against the Celtics, against Kobe and Powell, against Tim, Manu. Really? Get out of here. Chris is wrong about this. This is wrong.
I thought he could have got it done in Cleveland.
No.
And
No, he wouldn't have.
the soul searching
No, he wouldn't have.
he had to do in Miami after
They would have had to give LeBron D-leaguers and have him just play with D-leaguers because he was getting 65, not 65, but he was getting winning seasons out of the players that he had. They weren't that good. They weren't going to win championships with them. They weren't. Maybe get out of the East, maybe. Not beating the West. Not beating Kobe. You're not beating the Thunder. You're not beating the Spurs. You're going to need to come with more help than this. Than Larry Hughes. then Jamario Moon, then Anthony Parker, then Anderson Varejao, then Mo Williams, then Boobie Gibson, Daniel Gibson, then all these, no. Then Wally Zerbiak, no.
After he melted down against Dallas, I think he would have done
And old Shaq, no.
that in Cleveland had he kept loose.
Ben Wallace, no.
Look, everybody's saying Pat Riley taught LeBron. Dwayne Wade held his hand. They were there in 2011 when he melted down. So what happened then? He went himself. He figured it out, what he needed to do to start winning and stop letting the pressure get to him. Rich Paul told him, they all were in the Bahamas with D Wade. Rich Paul told him that summer, look, you came out here acting like a villain this year.
Yeah.
That's not you. So that's God. This is Rich Paul's words. No. God didn't let you win it this way because you're not a villain. Go back to being yourself and you'll start winning. And that's what happened. My point is this. I think, and the kicker I'm about to get to, Nick, I think LeBron would have, if he had stayed in Cleveland or gone somewhere else, he still would have won rings. And I'm going to give, if he had stayed in Cleveland, this is my kicker. I think his argument for the GOAT would have been better. Because the reason a lot of people hold against him in the GOAT conversation is you teamed up with another superstar in D Wade and another star in Bosh.
They do? Who do that? They just we say that he didn't win against the Mavericks. Who hold it against him that he went to the Heat? Who do that?
And you didn't do what Jordan did, which was build a horrible franchise into a dynasty. And all those old heads,
yeah, maybe Paul Pierce.
Players that, underrate LeBron, they wouldn't have that in their arsenal. So I actually think LeBron could have stayed in Cleveland, won as many rings eventually, and his GOAT
No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't have.
Argument would be even better.
So
don't believe what Chris Charger said. That's a lie. He's lying.
So here's the only part. So I happen to believe that that short of winning 7 titles, for a lot of people, LeBron's GOAT argument died when he was 22 years old, when he lost the finals. That it was like, 6 for 6. I'm not saying you, bro. I know, but you know that is
I agree.
a huge. There are a lot of people that truly believe that if LeBron were to win the next 2 titles, he would still be worse from a winning perspective than Jordan because he would have 6 finals losses to go along with 6 rings. So I think the GOAT argument almost was cast by Nike and by mythology and by a lot of things a long time ago.
Sure.
The part that you said that I don't agree with is I am not certain if LeBron would still be playing at this high of a level without the 4 years in Miami.
Really?
Just because so much of that has been his body. And LeBron at one point was dealing with like a back issue that you worried would take him out a bit. And I do think that LeBron and the Heat culture part of it, and for the first time in his career being around a great organization and a great coach, I do think that helped not only turn him into who he was already a 2-time MVP, a 4-time first-team All-NBA guy.
He was the best player in the league.
He was the best player in the league, hands down. But I do think that phase of his career might have lengthened his career.
I agree with that.
And also, what if he would have stayed in Cleveland and tried to do it that way? If those 4 years of his career, he was having to carry the whole load the way he was the first 7 years of his career, would he still in year 21 be able to play 35 minutes a night? I don't know.
I think
LeBron's career went just the way it was supposed to.
Like Riley, they work so hard. Now I know Riley wasn't the coach, but it takes years off. You look at D Wade. D Wade had a relatively short career, and Bosh was really never the same after playing in Miami.
Okay.
Again, I thought they would make it different. They didn't. It's not about the rings. It's just confusing to me. I guess maybe I can't read. Maybe it's just, I don't know. It's ridiculous.
That's all, folks.